Yeah, so a smart city really is about developing a holistic strategy that will allow you to deploy technology that will drive value for the city and really benefit the citizens. So one of the things that we're trying to do at AT&T is drive the movement, if you will, right? And help cities understand that a holistic strategy is a much better way to approach becoming smarter from a city perspective and adding those features and services that citizens and businesses need than buying in silos, right? And so in January of last year, we announced our AT&T Smart Cities Framework. And that framework includes 4 pillars, one being connectivity, which is extremely important. All of the devices that will drive value, that will generate data that can be used, need to be connected in a very secure and scalable manner. So we've got the connectivity pillar. We've got the applications and platforms pillar in the framework. And that's really about making sure that you've got security applications, that you've got developer environments, right, which drive economic development opportunities, and cloud offerings that the cities need. The other pillar we have is vertically integrated solutions or products that we're bringing to the cities within the framework, right, which is about developing a holistic strategy. And they could be in solution domains of energy and utilities, public safety, transportation, citizen engagement, or infrastructure. And then we've taken a lot of time to really pull together the right alliance of partners to be able to go into cities, because at the end of the day, no one vendor does it all, no one partner does it all. It's a true ecosystem play, and that's what AT&T does really well. And that's what we've done really well with our IoT business, and that's what's allowed us to get out and really lead from an IoT perspective, which is the foundation of becoming a smarter city. You've got a strategy component, right, and then you've got a technology component. From a technology perspective, I think one of the big drivers of cities becoming smarter and being able to drive adoption at a faster rate could really be 5G. I think we have a real good opportunity to have 5G be leveraged in a way that it will allow cities to not need to run as much fiber, right, or to dig and to disrupt, and really be able to use 5G technology to drive a lot of the smart city application adoption. So I think that's going to be a big part of it. Yeah, so it's really not about convincing the cities to invest, right? The cities all want to derive the value from smart city solutions and a smart city strategy, right? The citizens want it as well, right? So it's not about really convincing them to invest. They're there. Helping them find the funding to be able to make that investment is the challenge, right? And so smart cities has been around for 10, 12, 15 years, depending on who you talk to, right? And the 3 issues that have thwarted adoption, if you will, are policy, procurement, and funding, right? And so, the federal government is starting to step in and do a great job by seeding some initiatives. You're starting to see public-private partnerships pop up. You're starting to see alternative funding models be formed that are risk-based or based on upside. So there's multiple different ways that cities are pulling together the funds. Bonds, for instance, right, are becoming more popular. So depending on the solution that needs to be deployed to drive the value for the city and for the citizens, there's multiple different ways to fund it. And I think that's one of the things that we're trying to drive with the framework and that holistic strategy approach. It's again, helping those silos also think about how do we leverage funding across the board versus just for a specific offering that's only going to solve one problem. Well, I think for cities, cities don't have a lot of resources, right? So you just, obviously, we talked about the financial aspect of it, but they also don't have a lot of people, right? And they don't have extra headcount to manage the services. So one of the questions that I get a lot from CIOs is, this all sounds great, but then what? And my response is always, what do you mean by that, right? And they don't have people to necessarily manage the services after they're implemented. So I think that is one of the things that needs to happen. There's a major market opportunity for managed service providers to implement solutions that then are low touch for the city after they're implemented. So the first thing I think they have to do is not just look at it from a city perspective, right? So the ecosystem in their city needs to be engaged. And that's from the citizens all the way up to the large companies, to the research universities, right? And then again, the silos in the city. So they need to do a better job of bringing their local ecosystem or regional ecosystem or state ecosystem into the mix and allow them to help mold and craft what that strategy is to make sure that everybody's needs are met. So that's really number one. And then the second piece of it is, if they do that, they'll then be able to develop some consensus around what solutions need to be deployed that will really add value, right? And how that data will be used that's derived from those solutions to provide value to the city and to the citizens, right? And then from there, it's, they'll have a larger group of folks to help drive the funding and then to manage it after the fact.